80% of falls in the home occur in the bathroom. Don't put yourself or a loved one at risk. There's a safe bathing system for everyone's budget.
Enjoy a bathing experience that combines safety, comfort, and excellence. If assisted living is not for you, a BCI walk-in tub may well be the answer, giving you the safety and freedom to live independently. A BCI walk-in tub is the most affordable and comfortable walk-in tub in the market today. With our dual drain technology, your tub will drain quickly, and for those that still like the feature of a shower, our two-way bliss gives you both a handheld and overhead shower head. We offer the best financing in the industry with payments as low as $99 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months with approved credit. For comfort, safety, price, and selection, it's got to be BCI Walk-In Tub. Be one of the first 50 callers and save $1,500.
Call 800-354-4377, 800-354-4377 for a free no obligation in-home consultation.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we take a fast-paced look at some of the news stories that have happened over the past week in the sports betting industry. As usual, we are going to start off with our national and state reports. We've got two national gaming reports to talk about this week. We've got the usual reports from the states. We've got New York, Iowa, some stories coming out of West Virginia and Maryland. Following that, we're going to be in our deals segment where we've got a couple to talk about involving BetMGM. We've got a Caesars deal. We've got a Hall of Fame deal to talk about as well.
Hall of Fame deal?
Yes.
Oh, in Ohio?
In Ohio.
Okay.
Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company.
Right.
We'll be talking about that. In the industry updates segment, we're going to be talking several launches. We've also got a couple of rebrands to hit as well. So kind of interesting stuff.
By the way, how professional was that when I fixed my chair?
Yes,
during
I was
filming.
Totally professional.
That was great.
I was trying to ignore it completely, but
So.
you had to bring attention to it. And we're going to end up with our legislative update segment. We're going to be talking about Massachusetts, Ohio, Kansas, California, a couple of other things. But you know what? I'm going to say this. We're going to do Massachusetts right now before the break.
Okay, yeah.
Massachusetts, Governor Baker finally signed the sports betting legislation. Boy, did he wait until the last minute to do it. He waited all 11 days.
Was he like on vacation or something?
No,
or was he?
No, he had it. He got it August 1st.
Building suspense kind of thing?
He had an 11-day window, or would have been a pocket veto if he didn't sign it. But he went ahead and signed it towards the end of that time period.
Okay.
And Massachusetts became the 36th state.
Yeah, congratulations, Massachusetts.
Legal sports betting operation. They've been having meetings all along here trying to figure out the time frame. There's still no word on whether they're going to allow retail to launch before the online.
Okay.
They're trying to work all that out. And we'll see exactly when everything launches. I still think you're going to see retail.
Now the fun part is when these retail books open in Massachusetts. I'm trying to think of who are they going to get to do the ceremonial first bet. Will it be a sports hero? Will it be a politician? Who do you think it'll be?
I don't know. Usually it's a combination of everything. And with WynnBet there, you're probably going to see some major. I think they have something to do with. They do a special Patriots thing during the NFL, like a free piece of pizza or something.
Oh, really? Yeah, they do that?
They do some kind of weird promotion there. So you're going to see a whole bunch of different types of ribbon cuttings, I think. But, again, we don't know when retail is going to be launching.
Okay.
They should launch first, but
we'll
see.
Like I said, physically, and I'm talking about physically now, they're all ready. I mean, I think Encore, Boston Harbor, I mean, they're all ready just to take down the boards and have people sit behind the cages.
I think the only property that doesn't show how ready it is Plain Ridge Park.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Supposedly, the OTB section is going to have the sports book.
Okay, yeah, no, so. They have, they have a racing. What is it? Trotters.
Yeah, harness.
I call them trotters.
Yes,
but they have harness racing there, and it's right off the harness track, and
we'll know exactly when retail is going to launch.
Yeah, they have people taking bets for the horses anyway.
Yeah, so we'll see. But again, retail may launch before online or may not. So we'll see. Like I said, we're going to be starting off with some numbers. As I said at the top of the show, we've got 2 national commercial and tribal gaming reports to talk about.
Okay.
The American Gaming Association released their quarterly commercial gaming report on how the industry is doing overall.
Okay.
We have a record $14.8 billion in commercial gaming revenue.
So that's everything.
That's everything, but it's just the second quarter.
Okay, well, but that's all games. That's
everything.
All commercial gambling.
All commercial casinos.
Not just sports betting. That's
it's everything.
That's a simple way to put it.
Although, according to the American Gaming Association, sports betting did jump up from last year's second quarter by 58.7%. So It's a huge jump. A bunch of new markets opened up, too.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that. I mean, what state jumped on board since last year? So I can't. I can't.
It's
think
also
of it yet.
You got to factor in Illinois dropping the in-person registration requirement.
Yeah, that was big. Yeah, that was big. So.
But again, sports betting did jump up almost 60%. According to the American Gaming Association, overall, because when you get the second quarter report, you get the first half report.
Yeah,
all the time. Overall, 2022 revenue is about 18% of where it was in the first half of 2021.
Okay.
So they have $29.2 billion total for the first half commercial gaming revenue generated, which is huge.
Yeah,
that's a huge number. Over in the National Indian Gaming Commission, they issued their fiscal year report for this prior fiscal year for 2021.
Okay.
According to that report, U.S. tribal gaming generated $39 billion in gaming revenue.
Wow. Okay.
That is a 40% increase from the previous fiscal year, and it's another record. So both gaming industries, the commercial gaming, the tribal gaming, both are setting records all around the country, and it's nice to see.
In terms of tribal gaming, I'm trying to figure out what property is the top of the tribal gaming industry.
Are you talking about tribe? Or
I'm talking about what property. I mean, is it like Foxwoods? Is it Mohegan Sun? Or is it something out west that I'm not familiar with? I'm just curious about what's the crown jewel of the tribal gaming property.
See, it's hard to look at it that way because a lot of the Native American tribes, a lot of the Native American tribes operate multiple casinos.
Sure, yeah. Mohegan Sun, I think they own resorts.
They own resorts.
Casino,
they own Mohegan Sun Pocono. They own, and there's, out west, Arizona, there's at least 1 or 2 tribes that operate 5 or 6 casinos.
Yeah.
So it really, I don't know if you can. I mean, it's nice to have that. Which property led all
I'm just curious. I'm just
it's an interesting
curious
question.
about which property is the highest earner in the tribal casino industry.
I'll have to take a look deeper into that report.
Google that. Yeah.
Yes. But again, like I said, annual record. And now going over into our usual state reports, we had New York reporting their numbers for the week ending August 2nd.
Okay.
August 7th. Boy, I'm stumbling over that one. August 7th. We have... According to the report, even though, we're looking at weekly, they also do the monthly as well.
Okay. Right.
Before we get into the individual numbers here for some of these sports books, with that report ending August 7th, the state of New York has passed $9.5 billion in handle all time.
Wow.
$700 million in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to look at this number is huge. $350 million in tax revenue for the state.
That's why the states do it, for the tax revenue.
Well, it's 51% too.
Yeah, well, it's 51%.
We'll see how long that lasts. So I know there's a couple senators, Adabo is one of them, who wants to lower that 51%.
Sure.
And also try and get iGaming passed.
I hope so.
That would actually work tandemly, because if iGaming is passed, you could probably get away with lowering the sports betting tax number.
Oh, well, look, all the sports books in New Jersey are tied. It seems like everyone is tied to an online casino.
Yes.
So it'd be amazing if New York passed that.
I think there's only like 6 states that have iCasinos.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a relatively small number, and it shouldn't be.
Sure.
Because I think a lot of states are missing out on the online casino
absolutely.
revenue. And that would be,
yeah.
They got to do that. Again, New York, even when they have bad news, they have good news.
Yeah, what is it? July, they didn't break $1 billion in handle, which is the first time. Yet they still broke a record for $800 million, the best jurisdiction ever for July.
Yeah, for July only.
Unbelievable.
The highest handle mark, $800 million, over $800 million. They beat New Jersey. New Jersey had the previous record.
Okay, all right.
New Jersey had $577 million last July. Yeah. So New York has blown past that one. But it was interesting seeing some of the individual numbers, and we're going to look at as we go along here with some of the other states. But right now, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, and BetMGM. This is the second week. I made mention of this last week too.
Yeah, you called them the Big Four.
I called them the Big Four. A lot of people do that too.
Oh, you're not the only one?
I'm not the only one.
Okay.
So I'm not taking credit for that one. Again, second week in a row, about 93-94% of the market share for just those four. Everyone else has to take the 7% remaining and split it between them.
Well, I'm amazed at how well FanDuel is doing in New York. I mean, they are just beating the crap out of everyone up there.
43% of the market share in terms of handle.
That's
their revenue fluctuates.
Yeah, but they're just, the market share is incredible what they're doing.
They're actually about 40% of the entire online sports betting market anyway in the United States, wherever they're operating. But 43% on the weekly basis is just an incredible amount. And it's consistent with FanDuel. It's 40%, 45%. And, you have DraftKings came in second last week. DraftKings New York had 28% of the market.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a distant second.
Yes. So. And there was nobody else really close to DraftKings after that, too, because Caesars had there was maybe about $10-20 million difference between Caesars and DraftKings in terms of handle, and BetMGM took up the rear again. Mm-hmm. I remember when BetMGM was on the move to go ahead and start taking Caesar's place in third. Yeah. But Caesar seems to have recouped some of their stalled momentum in the state.
I'm seeing less Caesar's TV commercials.
You're seeing less everybody.
In the New York area.
Yes. Other than FanDuel and DraftKings, I'm seeing a lot less of everybody.
I'm assuming they're going to gear up for football. Yes. So, this may be a breather kind of thing.
A lot of people are thinking that the pullback in the marketing right now is getting ready for football.
Sure.
And then you have the two new states, Ohio and then probably California, because California is a lot of money.
Do you really think California is that close? I know they have to go through the referendum process and things like that.
As soon as they pass that ballot initiative.
Ohio, I'm looking forward to.
Well, Ohio is one thing, but I think you're going to see a lot of marketing in Ohio. Massachusetts, they said they're not going to be as aggressive because there's a lot more regulations in Massachusetts. So I think you're right. Ohio was going to be the next big one, big market.
Maryland, I'm not sure how
Maryland,
much.
no one knows when they're
going. I have no idea what's going on.
But it's Ohio, California, football season, all that. Everybody's pulling back now, saving money for the third quarter.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there. Caesars New York passed $40 million in revenue for the current fiscal year. That's only a couple of months. It started in April for the current fiscal year. Going over to Iowa. We have an Iowa number to talk about. Iowa operators passed the $80 million mark for revenue in 2022.
Okay.
Just this year, $80 million in revenue for the operators.
Okay, great.
And $250 million all time for operators in the state.
All right.
So they're moving quickly.
I don't have a lot to say about Iowa because I don't know the market that well.
Well,
I don't even.
We had Stephen Crystal talk about the Iowa market for Betfred.
Oh,
remember they took their largest bet from Mattress Mac.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we also in Iowa with their July report, they have now accepted more than $4.1 billion in bets since launch.
Wow.
And $1.3 billion in 2022.
Sounds like a good market.
Sounds
like a good market.
It's a great market.
Yeah.
This is an interesting stat I pulled out. Online wagering in Iowa makes up 90% of the total handle in 2022.
Okay.
Kind of goes in line with everybody else. But, they actually had in-person registration for a while, too.
Oh, okay.
They dropped it in the end of 2020. So they're only like 2 years, a year and a half into, non-in-person registration.
Yeah, it seems like the biggest percentage of online players usually are in states where the casinos and the sports books are really spread out.
Yep.
Yeah, just like in New Jersey.
Well,
it's
that's
either
Iowa.
top of north or all the way south. So I guess if your sports books or if your retail sports books are really spread out, I guess that's when, more online players jump on, which is logical.
Real quickly, West Virginia, the Mountaineer Casino cleared $100 million in all-time retail handle.
Okay.
In Maryland, MGM National Harbor was the second book in the state to clear $50 million in handle for 2022. Maryland Live actually passed the $75 million mark for the year with July's revenue report.
Okay.
So that's it for the quick look at some of these numbers. There'll be more detailed information in the print version of the book report on the blog. Just head on over to turnpikesports.us and you'll see the blog there. Let's head on over to some deals. This past week's deals were kind of interesting. We had BetMGM involved in a couple deals. We had the sportsbook operator making a deal with the NFL in Canada.
Yeah, I know. I read that in Canada.
Multi-year deal, making them one of the league's official sportsbook partners. It's non-exclusive. Everyone's got stuff from with the NFL in Canada. They now have permission to use official NFL trademarks and logos and images throughout Canada and the region, as well as advertising on the NFL platforms throughout the region.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting to see because of those advertising restrictions. You can't do the promos in the advertising. I always like seeing those different advertising. BetMGM also offered, also announced a new brand ambassador, Jerry Ferrara from HBO's Entourage.
Never saw the show.
I've never seen the show either. He played Turtle, the character of Turtle. So he's going to be hosting Unleashed, which is their sports betting podcast on the site.
All right.
Caesars announced a deal in Virginia for the development of Caesars Virginia.
Okay.
Now, it's a casino project. The reason I'm including it here is that they're going to be building a Caesars sportsbook in the property as well. I think it's going to be maybe the second retail book.
Okay.
After the Hard Rock opens.
Where is this at now?
This is Caesars Virginia.
Okay.
They did the deal with the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. It's going to be in Danville.
Danville. Okay. That's what I was getting at. I didn't know where it was. Danville.
We have one in the Hard Rock in Bristol.
Yeah.
And now we have Danville. So it's going to have 500 room hotel. It's going to have 1,300 slots, 85 table games. I'm reading from my notes here. 24 electronic table games, and the WSOP poker room.
Nice.
And the Caesars Sportsbook.
Great.
Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company announced a deal with Better, BETR,
all right,
which was just recently launched. It's a platform that is co-owned by the YouTube influencer Jake Paul. He's working with Joe Levy.
Okay. I like Better. I saw a tweet that they did. It was a video tweet, but they were telling people if you bet like $10 on something that was plus 135, how much would you win? And it was interesting. People had to do the math and things like that. So it was interesting.
They're another one of those social betting marketplaces as well. So going to be fun to watch that. They've also, with Jake Paul, is launching a media side of all this as well. They're going to be doing podcasting and shows and all that stuff all through the Better network kind of thing. WynnBet announced a partnership with SportsGrid for their Saturday show, the in-game live all-access Saturday edition.
All right.
It's going to be college football as well as some of the pro stuff.
So I guess it'll be in the afternoon during the games?
It'll be Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
Real Street Interactive announced the signing of popular Canadian sports broadcaster Natasha Staniszewski. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had to do a news report on that. And
I'm just glad I said that right.
I had to say it about 20 times in my head so I can Staniszewski.
She will be doing some content for Rush Street Interactive up in Canada, as well as in Michigan too. Well. So, all right. And also Rush Street's still going to be sponsoring the Magic City Highlight Championships in Miami, Florida. Miami City Casino is running their Highlight tournaments again. So for the third year in a row, Rush Street's going to be part of that. Bet Rivers, the brand, is the actual sponsor for that. That's it for the deals last week. Let's talk some industry updates and launches. This week's industry update segment, the first one we're going to talk about is the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
As we're taping this, they got approval from the Maryland Lottery Gaming Control Commission to launch a retail book at FedEx Field.
Okay.
It was kind of interesting.
That's like
because,
the first step of everything,
yes,
right?
that's the first step. Kind of interesting because they didn't announce they were the Washington Commanders in the application. They used a different name to apply for the license.
It's interesting.
Well, it was Dan Snyder running the company, and
Okay.
also the address was FedEx Field.
Okay.
So 2 and 2 together, Washington Commanders.
All right. Okay.
They are probably going to get approval from the sports wagering SWARC, the SWARC committee. I don't know what the acronym means.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know it by the proper name, but I don't know it. It's SWARC,
Yes,
Sports
SW
Wagering and something or other.
And-
But I've never heard it called SWARC. So.
SWARC, yeah. So they're going to be in front of them Friday morning as we're taping this. A little transparency there. And I'm sure after all the questioning Dan Snyder got from the Lottery Commission, it probably is going to go through.
Sure.
And they'll probably be one of the first ones in the area to have a retail book at their stadium.
And that's Maryland.
That's Maryland.
Yes, because remember, it's
the Washington Commanders.
The Washington, who were named prior, different name, they were in Virginia.
Yes.
So now it's Maryland.
Over in Washington, D.C. now, Caesars relaunched their updated version of Caesars Sportsbook on the new platform, the digital platform.
Yep.
It's going to allow for people to have better options in terms of
Good.
bet offerings, that sort of, and a smoother operation, too. Over in South Dakota, FSB received regulatory approval to launch in the state.
Okay.
They'll be doing their sportsbook offerings in the South Dakota casinos where sports betting is allowed.
Okay.
Only.
What is that? Deadwood?
Deadwood.
Okay.
Ontario, a couple of reports by Sports Handle. There's the possibility of a brick-and-mortar sportsbook in an Ontario casino coming soon.
Okay.
It could be one of the first ones. The report mentioned Niagara Casino posted jobs on LinkedIn for a sportsbook supervisor.
Oh, okay.
The Great Blue Heron Casino in Port Perry, Ontario, also is advertising to hire a sportsbook operations supervisor. So we'll see exactly where some of these potential sportsbooks open up. They don't have a retail book yet.
Okay.
So it'll be kind of interesting to see where they go. And, of course, in terms of rebrands, we've got 3 to talk about real quickly.
3 rebrands. Okay.
Rush Street is rebranding Play Sugar House in New Jersey to Bet Rivers, New Jersey.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's basically just a name change.
I was on it a little while ago, yeah.
And we have 2 gaming companies changing their names as well.
Okay.
We have Penn National Gaming changing to Penn Entertainment.
Okay.
And Great Canadian Gaming Corporation changing to Great Canadian Entertainment, both for the same reason. They offer so many different aspects. They're not just a casino company.
Seems like everyone's rebranding
company.
now. What was the? It's out of Las Vegas. It was a gaming company. It's something like Light and
Scientific Games went to Light and Wonder.
Light and Wonder. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Actually, it's
everyone's
kind of
changing their name. What's
a
going
good,
on?
It's
All
kind
right.
of a good name.
All right. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I just why is everyone doing it all of a sudden?
But again, they're trying to garner new audience.
I guess.
So, but Penn Entertainment, Great Gaming Entertainment, because they offer so much more than gaming. That's their reason.
Oh,
so it
okay.
makes sense.
All right.
Let's finish up with some legislative updates this week. Well, we're going to finish up this week doing a legislative roundup here. We already talked about Massachusetts at the top of the show.
Yep.
Ohio. I found this interesting. In Ohio, Acme and Kroger markets, supermarkets, have applied for licenses to have kiosks, sports betting kiosks, in their stores. As a matter of
That's why I'm loving Ohio, man. From the applications, it's going to be a wild market. Didn't a high school apply for a sports betting license too? Everyone's applying for a sports betting license.
The one rule that is still being looked at for Ohio, and it's because of the supermarkets too, and also the bars are actually having them look at this. It's in terms of the way the law is set up. The kiosks, the supermarkets, the bars, taverns, they have to pay out then.
Okay.
at that location,
All right.
which forces them to have gobs of money.
Money on hand, yeah.
So that's a sort of painting a target on some of their backs. That's what they feel.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's actually accurate, but it's what they're stating.
I'm assuming that has to be worked out, but that could be a little, Well, if you're paying out, you mean if you place a bet in an Acme supermarket,
If I'm in,
you
if
can
I'm
come back and get it, and
the way the
that's
way
what
the
you're
law
talking about.
the way the law is set up. If I get a winning bet at Acme on 43rd Street,
yeah,
I can't go to a different Acme. I have to go back to the one on 43rd Street,
and they have to have the money,
and they have to have the money to pay you.
Okay.
The way they want
is that a hard and fast, or are they still working that out, or what's going on?
That's in the law. That's the way the law is written for the kiosks.
All right.
And again, the supermarkets, since you got Kroger. Kroger's been pre-approved for 42 of their locations to have sports betting kiosks.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be able to cash out at any of those.
Okay.
Not just the specific one where you got that ticket.
All right.
So that makes sense. I mean, that's a logical argument.
Yeah.
If you got a chain of retail stores, supermarkets, you should be able to go to different ones. It should be like the lottery.
Well, a lot of those are franchise holders, and you're putting
Yes.
a lot of pressure on one franchise holder that that won't be put on another franchise holder. So you have to work that out.
And at this moment, over 1,100 businesses have been pre-approved so far for kiosks.
That's going to be a great market.
That's going to be fun.
Oh, I can't
It's going
wait.
to be fun to watch that.
What a January 1st that's going to be.
Over in Kansas, the Kansas Lottery Commission has approved the Kansas sports betting rules. They're going to be reviewed and probably approved by the Kansas Racing and Gaming Commission as well. Right now, there's no set date for a sports betting launch.
Okay.
They don't know if it's going to be during the football season. They don't know if it's going to be the first of the year. They don't know if it's going to be early 2023. They're going to be launching, but according to the executive director of the lottery, they hope to launch sports betting sooner rather than later.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, that's the best way to say it. So we'll see what happens there. Over in California, we're going to finish up in California today.
Okay.
The dueling sports betting propositions have combined to become the most expensive ballot questions in the state history.
Isn't like everyone just spending a ton of money on advertising and lobbyists and things like that in California?
$356.6 million
that's
at
incredible.
this time.
That's incredible.
It's still going to be more coming.
Oh, yeah, sure. As we get a little closer to the election,
Yes.
yeah, sure.
The previous record was back in 2020, Proposition 22. That came in at a total of $205.37 million in terms of spending to support or be against or oppose the proposition. So this is just setting records over and over again. I'm just curious to see if this translates into a really great market. I don't know how everything's going to pan out here, but
that's going to be the market when California.
as long as they pass it.
Sure.
Everything is aiming toward passing Proposition 26 and 27.
Mm-hmm.
26 is the tribal retail, and 27 is the online. So both of them could pass.
Yeah.
But they're both going to be on the ballot. We'll see what happens. That's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Keep the press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com, and we'll keep reporting on it. Also, if you want to see the full print version of the book report, because there are many more stories we didn't have a chance to cover in the half hour, head on over to turnpikesports.us and click on the blog button, and you'll see a full print version of the show, of the topics of the show, and also stories we didn't cover on the blog itself.
And that'll do for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.